Hey everybody, welcome to Hockey SKATEDOWN. Before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers. If you want to join our hockey team, it's free. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell to all. Thank you all so much. Let's get started. There's a lot of news that's been breaking about the New Jersey Devils, so I wanted to do a full video talking about a lot of different things. NHL.com recently interviewed Martin Brodeur about the open GM position. There was an article that came out about Devils and how they stand going into free agency. There was talk of Fitzgerald and what he wants to add to this team and what he emphasized as a glaring need. There was an interesting quote that Zajac did when he said when he did an article with Amanda Stein. I wanted to talk about because I thought it was rather interesting. And the whole front runners for the head coach position. They said they narrowed it down to a couple, but mainly one name is sticking out. So, I wanted to talk about all this stuff. So let's start with the NHL.com and Martin Brodeur piece. I like what Brodeur did. They basically asked him, how would you feel about being the general manager of the Devils if it was offered to you? And he said that, he's not ready for it at this time. He wouldn't be fully committed to it. And he knows when he's ready, basically. And he doesn't feel like he's ready for it now. He understands that it's a daunting task, how it's a night and day job, it's a restless job, and you got to be fully vested in it. And he likes having his days off, so he understands the rigorous nature of that job. He's dealt with it in St. Louis. He's seen it firsthand with Shiro and Lamoriello as well. So he said when he feels he's ready for it and it's offered to him, he'll definitely consider it. So I like what Brodeur said. He basically wants to learn more about the job. He wants to learn how to handle it and basically learn about if he's offered the job down the line and if he'll take it or not, which I love the way he said it. And, if it's offered to Fitzgerald, great. I like the way his passion is for this. And we'll get into that more later, but I just wanted to talk about the Brodeur thing. Let's talk about that article next. It says it is unlikely the New Jersey Devils will go after a big-name free agent this offseason, as it's not believed it is the key to their plan going forward. Now, when I saw this, I was a little upset, but, it's totally understandable, and I feel like whoever wrote this article is totally right. We have a lot of RFAs in our system, a lot of key RFAs. We have a couple of UFAs that they'll make the decision on if they're going to keep or let go. And, the main need that I felt that there's a couple of positions that we need to fill. And we need a couple of wingers. We need a certain type of defenseman in this organization. And we need a steady backup if it's not Corey Schneider and if he's not bought out. So, I do feel like they'll address some of those. But I think it's going to be contracts that are not long-term. As Fitzgerald has already said that he wants to grow this team with the young youth. So if you're going the free agent route, it's going to be players that are a bit older, not growing with this young core. So I understand what they said with this, how they're not going to look for the big names, as it's, you're giving them a possible long-term contract for big dollars, and you don't want to occupy your cap space with that. I would love to have Krug. I would love to have Pietrangelo. Barry's another name out there that could potentially be a Devil. That's debatable. There's Hoffman, there's Dadonov, there's Toffoli. There's a couple of good names out there that can help this team, but we're going to have to see if Fitzgerald's going to go that route. But I totally understand as far as that. I really do think this team needs wingers to help with Hischier and Hughes' development. I felt like they really struggled with their wingers this year, and their production really suffered for it. I feel like if they have a couple of better wingers to help them grow, I think they would help their progression. And, the case that I agree with this article is that there's a lot of RFAs that we need to sign. Primarily Jesper Bratt and Mackenzie Blackwood are the two key focal ones that I think will get better deals. And they're definitely going to be making more than they're making now, so that's going to go against the cap. Next up is Anderson. I feel like he's going to be brought back, and, he's one of our focal points as he's young too, and, he's had a good year. Then you go into the names like Hayden, Mueller, Merkley. I liked what he offered in his short role with us. Cini, Colton White. I like what he did when he came up in those short amount of games. He showed us a little bit of something. And Josh Jacobs. So there's a couple of names out there that, they're not going to be breaking the bank, but they'll come back on new deals that will go against the cap. So, and you also have to think of down the line when Hughes' ELC's up. If Kuokkanen turns out to be a great piece, you're going to need to re-sign him to a new deal. So and Foote as well. Foote was a good acquisition as well by Fitzgerald, and if he works out for us and he comes off his ELC, he's going to be needing a new deal. So these contracts are going to cost more down the line. So it's always good to keep open cap space for that. And if the team needs help during the year, you don't have to struggle against moving this player out to bring in someone else to help. So I understand what they're saying in this article. I agree with them, and we'll see what whoever's our GM at the point does to fill out the rest of the roster come the offseason. The next I wanted to talk about was Travis Zajac. He did an interview with Amanda Stein, and I love this quote that he says. I still think I have a role on this team, and I can help. I know I have got a lot of hockey left, and I want to be part of this group. I see talent. And so do I really do. I like the way this team is going. I like what Shearer was doing. I like what Fitzgerald has done this trade deadline. So I like the pieces they brought in. And, I love Zajac. I really do. I really hope that after his current deal is up, he can sign another 1 or 2 year deal because he brings a lot of intangibles to this team. He doesn't necessarily pad up the score sheet, but he helps, this team out a lot of different ways. He's a great two-way player. He's great in the locker room. He can show these young players how to mature a two-way game and how to play on and off the ice. So I am for this. I love Zajac and what he offers. And, I love the way he came out and said this, and I hope he shows everybody that he's got a lot more left in the tank like he says he does. And going to Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald said in an interview that when they asked him, what's your glaring need, what do you want to have addressed? And he says emphatically, we need to address the back end. We need size. We need to play tougher and be a tough team to play against. And I totally agree. So what is he going to do? What kind of defenseman is he going to bring in? Is he going to look to bring in a UFA defenseman? If you're thinking of players with size, is he going to make a trade to bring in another defenseman? And it's true. I totally agree with him on this. Our defense is rather on the small side. They don't use their body a lot. Clearing the front of the net has been a huge issue for this team for a couple of years, so I hope they really do address that. Fitzgerald was with the team, on the bench, so he sees it firsthand what the need is for this, and I do agree. I'd be curious to see what they do to address this, though. So and what names they could bring up. So I know we have Ball and Okoyuk. I hope I said that right in the future, but I think he's going to add something for the current team now because I don't think that they're ready to step up into a Devils lineup, and it may take a couple of years. So I like how he came out and said this. We need size. We need people to hit and be aggressive and clear that front of the net. So hopefully we'll see that this upcoming season. And let's talk about the head coach position. First, let's get to the GM. Let's talk about this whole GM, coach, and draft lottery thing. The draft lottery is this Friday, so we have a couple of days to see what's going to happen. Fingers crossed the Devils win it again. I highly doubt it, but it'll be very interesting to see. Will our GM be announced leading up to the draft lottery? Well, that'll be a very interesting thing. And I'm totally for if it's Fitzgerald. I really am. I love the passion he shows for this team. I love the decisions he's made leading up to this trade deadline. I really feel like they should give him the shot. He's been in constant talks whenever a team has needed whenever a team has had a GM shift, his name has always been rumored, so I hope he is our GM going forward. And having him and Marty bouncing ideas off each other is a great thing for our organization. And going into the coach, there's been a lot of they said they narrowed a list down to 4, and the front runner in that, the most notable name is Peter Laviolette, but Gerard Gallant is on that list as well. I would not mind either one of them. I like it. Like I've done a video about this in the past. I like Laviolette. If it's not Laviolette, I'm okay. If it's Gerard Gallant, I love either one of them. I think both of them will help this young team out and get them to where they need to be. They're good coaches and they're stern coaches. That's what I like. That's what this team needs. So we'll see what happens with this. I know it's a long video. I apologize for that, but I wanted to talk about a couple of different things that I felt like instead of doing one short video, do one video of all of it together. So comment below what you think about this. Let me know what you think about the Brodeur situation, the adding a big name in free agency, what you think about Travis Zajac, what you think about what Fitzgerald said about adding size, and what do you think about the coach, if we'll get a coach announced soon. They said maybe after the draft lottery we'll see an announcement. We'll see. So comment below, let me know. As always, thank you all for watching. I appreciate your time. Smash that like button, comment below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Join our hockey team. Have a great night. Have a great day tomorrow. Take it easy.